That's my meeting call. Hey guys, welcome back to another K-pop Monday, and my name is Morgan, and somewhere over here is Sam. She's over there. And today, I'm going to be talking about one huge story because usually I know I talk about like two or three stories, but this week there really hasn't been a lot of news besides Yui and I think his name is Kingman or Kingman. King? I don't really know how to say his name. I'm sorry. But they were dating, and they were like, "No, we're not dating." They were like, "Yes, we are dating," when the pictures were released. But anyways, congratulations to them for dating, and yeah, good for you. But I thought I would talk about something kind of shocking and something I don't think you would know about it because it's very old. It's very old news, but it's probably one of my favorite cases in K-pop, and kind of one of my favorite like because I'm interested in like crime stories and like conspiracy stories and stuff like that. So I'm gonna talk to you about one of the most shocking K-pop deaths ever.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a group called I don't know how to correctly say it, but it's like Duex. That sounds about right, right? Uh, but they were a hip hop group that debuted in 1993, so they were like the first generation of K-pop groups ever.
We were what, two?
Yeah, I was three, you were
I was
two.
two.
Yeah. They came out with hit songs such as Turn Around and Look at Me, which is a really famous song. I think BTS did that song. Infinite has done that song before, so it's a really famous song. And they basically introduced hip hop and New Jack Swing into Korea. And the duo was also, they also popularized hip hop dancing and like the type of fashion that went along with hip hop. Um, and they were very, very popular. They had a huge fan base, very, very popular among Korean youth, and they had a lot of hardcore fans too. So they were together for 2 years and they had three albums, but they decided to disband because they just wanted to do solo stuff and they just want to do their own thing.
Mhm.
But the two members, Lee Hundu, I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize, and Kim Sung Jae, they were best friends, okay? And they also said like, they also left the group on good terms and they also promised that later on that they would basically reunite and come out with the album. It wasn't a bad disbandment. It wasn't like they're fighting or anything like that. They wanted to do different things in life, which is perfectly okay. And most of them knew that they were basically best friends and they would be best friends for life. So on November 19th, 1995, Kim Sung-jae debuted on SBS 20th Gaia Awards show with his song "As I Told You," and it gained praise from both fans and press. It was such a good song, and even today, K-pop idols still cover it. Later on, he spent the night in a hotel room with his girlfriend and his backup dancers, and it wasn't just like a small hotel room. It looked like it was probably a suite, whereas like there's a living room and there's like two or three rooms and stuff like that. So he spent the night there, and then the next day in the morning, he was found dead. Yeah. So I forgot how old he was. I think he was in his 20s. I want to say 21, 22. He's very, very young when he died. So after a police investigation, they found 28 needle marks on his right arm. 28. Which caused his cause of death was Taman. I don't know how to say this name. Tylthamine zolapam, which is an animal simulant. Uh, but yeah. So, and they also found that he was wearing a long sleeve shirt. And uh, but here are some things that don't add up. Okay, he has 28 needle marks in his right arm. Okay,
Mhm.
but he's right-handed. So how does that work out? Because like if I'm right-handed, I'm using my left hand. I don't like when
I
you
was gonna
think.
say right hand, like if I was gonna do anything, I would do it right into left, not left into right.
Yes,
I wouldn't have, my hand wouldn't be steady enough.
yeah, exactly. Because you think like it would, yeah. And also if you, I'm pretty sure like I'm not sure because I don't do drugs, but in like movies, don't you tie something around your arm? And
Yeah, it's a tourniquet, but
when you do that with your like more like
dominant, yeah.
hand. Another thing is that since I told you that he fell asleep with a long sleeve shirt on, his mom was like, "Listen, ever since growing up, he never wore a shirt to bed, and if he did, it was like a cut off sleeve because he got hot during sleep. So why would he wear a long sleeve shirt? Doesn't make sense.
Mm.
And also the fact that Kim Sung-jae had just successfully debuted, he had good friends and family, and showed no signs of drug use, which made it very hard to believe that he was actually abusing drugs. So, okay, what's your thought process right now? Do you think,
Okay, so my thought process right now is someone is trying to frame him as a drug addict who
mm-hmm,
overdosed.
mm-hmm,
But the point is someone framed him, or as far as it looks like, because yeah, if he's right hand dominant, everything's going to be done right to left. Not
mm-hmm,
everything, but most that's going to be done right to left. I mean, the only things I do left-handed is I cut things left-handed. So like when I hold something, I usually cut left-handed, but that's the only thing I use my left hand for
mm-hmm.
usually. Um, so it would make more sense that like tying would be, if he was going to use a tourniquet, would be tying right to left. If he was needle marks, right to left. Um, and if he hadn't started wearing long sleeves like to the weeks leading up, it's really weird that he would like do it out of this like one time. And like, was the room particularly cold? I mean, we don't know. That's all circumstantial. But I mean, if he's had a history of like not wearing a shirt to bed and all of a sudden he's wearing a long sleeve shirt, that's really weird.
Yeah. So you
That's
think,
really weird.
yeah. So do you think there's like, if you,
I
okay,
I call foul play.
foul play. Okay. So there was, people do think there was foul play, and there was one huge suspect in this case. You want to kind of, what do you
Well,
think? Who's the suspect?
immediate suspect would be his partner, the other half of this group, DUX. It sounds like ducks to me, but
Mm. Oh,
so the
he wasn't there. He was in America when
so
this
then
happened.
you would go to all the people who were in the room with him.
Hmm.
So who was in the room with him at the time? And then you would kind of branch
The
out from there.
the backup dancers and the girlfriend.
Yeah, so I would say girlfriend right now.
Yeah. So the main person who was suspect was the girlfriend, and there are some really kind of crazy things about her. Because number one, while the other dancers went to sleep in other rooms, Kim, which is the girl's name, they're not, I mean, it's her last name, but they're just using her surname to kind of give her, I guess, privacy, which is,
Anonymity,
yeah,
yeah.
stupid. You did something bad. We should all know your name. But Kim and Sungjae slept in the living room together. Two, she was known for being very obsessive over him. These are things, some things, I feel like these are not official statements, although, like, since this happened so long ago, it was hard to find official news, like, news stuff about it. But on one site, I saw that they were saying that she would stop fans from coming to see him. Like, if they came up to him, she'd be like, oh, you can't talk to him. She also tied him up while he was sleeping so he wouldn't miss certain events or re-signing contracts. I mean, right there's red flags. Break up
I know,
right
right?
there.
Psycho alert.
Yeah, she shot him with a gas gun before. Do you know what a gas gun is? I have no clue what it
No,
is.
I have no idea what it is, but it doesn't sound good.
No, she used to contact his friends to see what he was doing, where he was at all times.
She's a
Uh,
stalker.
Yeah, when he was in the US working, she used to call him all the time and he got really frustrated, so he stopped picking up her phone call. And people say that this was her breaking point, that that's what got her really angry. And then to make things even worse, where she found out that Sung Jae was dating someone else in the US, and this might have been the reason why she got angry. So, and then number three, a dancer said that in the middle of the night he heard a washer running for some reason. So he went to go check out, like go out to the living room, and he saw that Kim was doing something to Sung Jae, but they don't really say what it was. They don't say like she was stabbing him or anything. They just said that she was doing something. So we don't really necessarily know what she was doing. And number four, a pharmacist said that Kim bought the same drug that he died from at a vet clinic. And when he asked her what it was for, she said, my dog, but don't tell anyone I bought it.
Okay, so basically at this point, I would be getting the arrest warrant because
Yeah.
I think I have enough probable cause to arrest this woman and charge her for the murder of him.
Yes, but
Oh my
there's more
God.
things. She brought him the long sleeve shirt that he died in.
So is
And
this woman in jail?
oh, I'll get more to it. And then lastly is she tried to use her money, to stop the police from examining his body. Yeah, she's crazy.
She's psycho.
But during the first trial, Kim was sentenced to was charged with his murder and sentenced to death. But during prison, she kept on saying that she was innocent, that she didn't kill him. So she was giving a retrial. I'm not sure how the
Hmm.
legal system works there, but she was given a retrial. And during that retrial, she was sentenced to only life in prison. But during the third trial, that's when things kind of changed. It was something big happened. So the witnesses, aka the pharmacists and stuff like that, decided to change the words and decided to say that they didn't see her, and they basically took back their statements. So they had no witness whatsoever. Um, they also said that, due to the amount of stuff that she bought did not would not be enough to kill him. And they also said that due to a lack of evidence, because they didn't think that she had probable cause to kill him, that she was let go. So she basically served a couple months in prison and then she was let go. Or maybe she served a year. I'm not sure how long she actually served, but she was let go, and she is now living her own life, free as a free woman.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. I see why you told me you're gonna just let me go and talk about this. Okay,
Yes.
so at the beginning of all of this, you have the pharmacist the vet pharmacist tech person who sold her the drug. Now, my question is has anyone looked into her talking to any other pharmacist tech who sold her the drug? Because it might be a controlled substance, and so you can only get it like so much at a certain period or at like the same time. So if you go to multiple people and say like my dog needs this or whatever, like she could have had a supply. Who knows?
Well, here's
Um,
the thing, Sam. Okay, here's the thing. She comes from the Kim's family is a rich family, and they own, ready for this? They own 10 pharmacists. And her relative is a politician too. So what they think happens is that Kim's family paid off the witnesses, and also if they
well, I
own
was
all
gonna get
these
to that point.
pharmacies, well, yeah, if they own all the pharmacies, then she could easily get that type of medication. So
Right.
finish what you're saying.
Well, I was gonna get to the point of them being paid off. So you had the first trial where she's sentenced to death, and in these kinds of cases, at least in the United States, unless it's like capital murder, nobody really gets sentenced to death. So I'm kind of shocked they went that far that fast.
Mhm.
Um, but if you go through the second trial and nobody's been paid off, witness statements stay the same, blah blah blah, and she's gone through the appeal process and now she's life in prison, like why pay them off? Like first of all, someone's paid off because like all of a sudden now everything's being um like witnesses statements are going away and like evidence is changing and statements are changing and everything, so like someone meddled in the middle. But why all of a sudden now on the third trial is she free to go? Like it should have been the first trial. Usually, at least in the United States, when it comes to sentencing to death, you automatically go through the appeals process because it's such a
Mhm.
harsh sentence that they don't automatically like they accept the sentence, but they automatically appeal for it. Like they have to go
Mhm.
through all their appeals. Um, so it makes sense that she would go through the appeal process again. But if she comes back out with just life, which is a lesser sentence than what she was given, I don't know why they would go back through the appeal process again. I think like they would chalk it up as like she's not going to die,
Mhm.
except she's going to be in prison for the rest of her life. So to appeal again and all of a sudden be let go, like that doesn't make any sense. And wouldn't the previous trials be used as evidence? The previous statements be used as evidence? It's like this was what was used to accuse her the first two times. Why is it changing now with the exact same people in the exact same evidence and not be called inconclusive before, but it's called inconclusive now? Like
Exactly.
that is just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And if they all of a sudden have now retracted all their statements, I would be wanting a second investigation into all of these people and why have they retracted their statements. I would investigate the family and look into their bank accounts to make sure they're not paying people off. I would look at their records of all the medications they have in there to see if anything didn't like disappear all of a sudden because like you have to keep records of everything that goes in and out because you're dealing with drugs.
Yeah. And
So like that
um,
just is
the
mind
whole
blowing.
the whole thing is sketchy. The whole thing is sketchy, and I feel bad for his friend Lee Hundu. Like I'm saying his name so wrong. I apologize. But the other half of his duo, and basically, he said, before because they were in America together, and the next day, Sung Jae had to go to Korea to do his debut song, and he was saying that how he was angry with him because he didn't want him to leave, and that Sungjae reached out a hand and he wouldn't take it, and then he smiled at him and he goes, "Well, I'll see you later. Don't worry about it," and left him. And then like that next day, he finds out that his best friend was murdered, and he did talk about it recently about it, and he said, I still think about him quite often. I can't help it. A lot of people ask about him too, and I really have a tough time having any good relationship. Anyone who got close to me would say, "Who really did it?" And I close my heart again. When people ask me that, I say, it's what everyone else thinks. But I feel it's unfair. It's unfair sometimes, and thought that the world didn't always run based on truth. I feel daunted whenever I go out to official places. I feel guilty, but I'm living well. I live by thinking I have to bear the pain by adapting. I'm figuring out how to deal with the future, but the relationship I have with Sungjae is our own, and the pain is the same. So which is really sad. And also, Kim Sung Jae is still remembered even today. A Korean drama called Signals. They came out with like a whole episode directed, basically like about Kim Sung Jae, and I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure if it's like inspired by that episode or it's like they literally go into detail about his stuff. And also, Vix. Y'all, Vix actually performed a whole song performance for Sanjay and did his debut song, and Ravi wrote a small rap for him, um, for the song, and it said, I'm a silent witness hiding the truth, the witness who lied, a trial with an obvious result, the trial will obviously get buried because of the powerful ones not entering, because it's a human incident. We have no choice but to obey the powerful ones. I hear your cornet like voice, the court drama. And so he wrote that rap and they performed the song, and Sung Jae's mother was there and she cried and she said that, for like 3 minutes she was able to like feel her son again. And yeah, this is one of the messed up cases in K-pop history. And I honestly, I mean, what do you think? Do you think she's innocent? Do you think that she's not innocent?
I mean, there would have to be some nasty evidence out against somebody else for me to say that she's not in. If everything you're, so I'm not saying you're lying, but if everything that the news has come out is true, the evidence is true, this is how everything is. Plus, you have legitimate cases that say that she's guilty twice over. Something has to come out to say that she didn't do it for me to believe that she didn't do it. Like,
Yeah.
solid evidence.
Yeah, I
And
think
right
she
now,
did
everything
it.
points to she did it. But at this point, the statute of limitations is gone. She's now been, not only is the statute of limitations gone, but on her record, she is marked as innocent. And I don't know about Korea, but in the United States, you have what's called double jeopardy, which means that you can't be tried for the same case twice, unless something else comes out, or like a new piece of evidence that like is completely game changing. So at this point, she didn't do it according to the law, but I think she did it.
Yeah, we all think she did it, and it's sad because according to fans, she basically did plastic surgery. She changed her name, and she's living as a rich dentist, and she has a whole new life. And it's sad because it took someone who was so young and someone who honestly had a good life ahead of them. But anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of me and Sam discussing an old case. And maybe next week, if there's not a lot of K-pop news, I will take another case that's old and talk to Sam, because I don't know, do you like these kind of cases, kind of
I
stuff?
do. I like these kinds of discussions. But like, what do you guys think? I mean, do you have the same opinions as us, or do you think we're kind of talking wacky and you want to say something? I mean, we enjoy comments and everything, so we definitely want to hear what you have to say about this too. I mean, this is a discussion video, so let's discuss. But no, I do enjoy this. I do enjoy this.
Okay. Well, everyone have a good day. We'll see you next time. Okay.
Comment about Morgan's shirt.
Infinite. Okay, bye.